Hi everyone, Jonathan Horror here again, head tutor for Essentials of Finance in Your Startup course, and as promised, here's a short roundup for week 2. So firstly, well done for all the assignments that were submitted in week 1. There's loads of excellent work there, and you'll all have received, maybe about an hour ago, a notification at least that your grades and feedback are available, and obviously that's personalised feedback, which comes out to you every Wednesday morning. So a couple of things that are worth saying. The marking rubric is there to provide a consistent approach to marking as part of our academic integrity. It should also be really useful for you in terms of enabling you to build a high score. If you follow what it's asking for really carefully, and things like the word count, like many of you did, then you will find yourself able to build a high score there, and to include all of the elements required. If you don't, or for example, if you're only at half the word count, then it's very difficult to achieve the depth that would be required for the top marks. As is often the case, we've had a couple of extensions. Everyone's submitted without errors this time, which is fantastic. So I think there's maybe only one that is still outstanding, but we'll get that marked and turn around and out to you as soon as possible. Um, Another thing just to say, if you need any clarification or anything, then please do reach out to Paul or myself in advance. Once your assignment is submitted, then there isn't anything we can do. It just needs to be marked as it is then. And I think finally, on the assignments generically, it's just for you all. Well, actually, my encouragement, as I think I said in the first video, is not to excessively focus on the grade here. You're here to learn, and as we see in week 2, it starts to become more and more about your own business concepts, and I think that's what you really get from it. But I know some of you will be focused on also trying to get a high grade, and please bear in mind that 70 within the UK, 70 is considered a first class or a distinction, and therefore represents an excellent piece of work. I know grading is done very, very differently across the globe, so that can feel different. But bear in mind that, for example, 90%, 100% on a written piece of work is very, very rare indeed, albeit it is more achievable within the numerical sections. And indeed, this week there were some people on the second part there that did get everything. Did pick up everything there. There was a few people this week. As I say, you've all got your individual feedback, but there was a little bit of a theme there, and people for the second part using what was probably reasonable steps, reasonable assumptions around the growth rate, but not quite aligned with the model and the way it was asking for. So again, this is why I say not to be excessively hung up on the grade, because if you're making reasonable approaches, reasonable assumptions, which actually I think everyone did, then you know you won't get the same answer and you won't get the same grade. But if it's reasonable, then your mental approach to it, the way you're thinking about it, I think is much more important. There were more marks dropped within the POC framework analysis, and I think that aligns with what I've just said about where it comes to the written side of things. Actually, we're really going to challenge you for precision there, and we'll keep those standards high throughout the course. On the discussion forum, I so the topic for the week was around an appropriate type of investor for Athleta. I thought the discussion was really good. I think Paul's challenge to you about a day ago was perfect, as it usually is, and I think some of the responses since then have taken the conversation definitely to a deeper place. So that's part of the reason why I've delayed this from I usually send out on a Tuesday, but part of the reason I've delayed is just to give more people that chance to respond until we got right to the end of the week 2 discussions. So I think it's one of the challenges with this, and especially within a small group, is the first couple of people that post, if they kind of take a perspective, then it's very easy to agree with it. And I just really open the challenge to you to challenge people challenge those first couple, or add nuance to it, add an angle that perhaps they haven't taken, some context, something different that adds to, builds on it. Say, yes, but, um, and let's see how we can, to an extent, avoid rushing to the kind of the first answer is the answer that we all group around. And I thought people did that really well in the past sort of 24 hours. The nuances come through there a little bit more. Um, by now, you will have seen Juanita's video response and obviously conclusion that VC funding is the preferred option there. Perhaps not a surprise within the premise of this course that's the way it's taken, and it doesn't actually invalidate many of the points that you've made. So yeah, although you've reached a different conclusion, again, I think the important thing is you're thinking it through, thinking about the advantages and disadvantages of different types of funding available, and what comes with those. So I thought that was done really well. Um, I think that's all. I think that's all for this week. So next week we'll move on to looking at venture capital valuation method. So enjoy that. Keep momentum going. The course moves quickly, and we're a third of the way through now, barring the lag for your second assignments coming back, which obviously you've just submitted now in the last day or two. So reach out if there's anything that we can help with. Keep the momentum going, and I'll see you next week. Thanks.